You a series of lectures. Today's lecture, Persuasive Speaking. So lots to talk about and cover today. I wanted to just give you an oral explanation of these really core concepts of persuasive speaking. I always recall that when I was doing my bachelor's degree in communication studies, there was an entire course and courses, multiple, on the concepts of persuasive speaking. So all that's to say that what you're getting here and now is a very basic edition of persuasive speaking concepts. You can study these concepts for 16 weeks, if not more. There are people who study it their entire lives and dig into it. So lots to talk about, but I think this is a super important concept to understand, not just to check a box and do our speech, but because persuasive speaking is all around us. You are constantly being persuaded. We are constantly just given messages to and from and sharing. You can think of a political scale where two people are debating, right? In an election year, all the more important to understand, right, what is actually being discussed. And then also on a minute scale, right? If you are with a group of friends in a group text and you're deciding where to eat and you have an amazing idea, you are about to be persuasive, whether you know it or not, right? Just the nature of the content of explaining to someone why you should eat at restaurant XYZ will tell you, right, the persuasive nature of communication in those contexts. So earlier in the semester, we talked about how informative speaking is not persuading. Well, persuasive speaking, ironically, has lots of information in there, right? With informative speaking, you're not persuading, but in persuasive speaking, you are giving a lot of information, a lot of support. So it's not just your opinion that you're giving in persuasive speaking, but you're giving information, right, grounded in a specific point of view. And those are the words I want you to embrace as you're looking at persuasive speaking. What is my point of view here? And that's super important. So if you're taking notes, which you should, even if you're listening to this online, because it helps you really understand these concepts and will make it easier to do your outline. If you're taking notes, what I want you to do is first write down at the top persuasive speaking notes, and then the next thing is write down these two important principles. And the two important principles of persuasive speaking is, one, do I care about my audience? And that sounds really weird. Why is that the most important thing about persuasive speaking? And it's actually the number one thing that's going to make you effective. And not a forged care, but a sincere care to really ask yourself, why am I asking my audience to change their mind on any given issue? And have I demonstrated a relationship with them, showing them that I care for them in order to be effective in this? And ultimately, that's what makes someone successful. They have to feel like you care, and that's what makes someone change their mind on a given issue. So maybe you're thinking, Professor Bell, that's not true. Well, I'll give you an example to help illustrate my point. And the example is, think about the one person or two people in your life who can change your mind on any given topic. Okay, think now, who's that person? If you had a restaurant you had picked out, going back to the food example, who can change your mind on where to eat tonight for dinner? Who can change your mind to get you to say, okay, I won't eat here, I'll eat here instead? And think about, if there's one or two people you could pick, who would that be? And maybe you're saying no one. But if you did have to pick someone, who would that be? Who could change? Who's that option to change your mind? And probably you're picking someone that you feel like cares about you to some degree or another. Maybe it's your mother or your father, a family member, your significant other. You feel like they care about you, and that's why they can influence a change in your decision. I know when I'm asking for an opinion on something, I'm always going to the people I know that care about me. I'm asking my husband, what do you think about this? Because I care about him and also know that he cares about me, right? So persuasive speaking, number one, as you're taking notes, the audience has to know that you've built a relationship with them, that you're sincere, and that you care about them. And you've been practicing this all semester. A big way we do this is through eye contact. So as you've been making eye contact in your videos, in your delivery, whether face-to-face with an audience, without an audience, right? In your assignments, when you're making eye contact in one way or another, it demonstrates, right, your relationship, your care for the audience, that you want them invested. You are speaking to them, not just burdening them with information. So that's number